Gonna do a fairly sizable cook today. Getting this thing preheated, I'll go inside and start seasoning some meat, getting it ready to come out here. Gonna be doing 3 pork butts and 3 racks of ribs today. Wanted to show you these ribs first. This is a 3-pack St. Louis cut. I normally do spare ribs, but 50% reduced, hard to pass that up. And it's only because it was close to its sell-by date. So they'll mark it down to 25%, and if you go in there like a day or so later, you can catch it at 50%. They had several, so I wish I'd have bought more, but I only got 1. Mainly due to limited freezer and refrigerator space here, but yeah. 3 racks of ribs. I think I paid like $9.50 for that. I got my ribs, got the first 2 pork butts in this tub here. I'm just setting them in here and getting them patted down. These are bone in. I got this pack right here. This is a 2-pack boneless. The reason I bought boneless is because, one, I'm going to cut into pork steaks, and I just didn't want to mess with the saw. So, yeah. Pork steaks for later, and I'll have the extra boneless. So, this going to go on the smoker today with all this meat here. So I'll season and put in this tub here. I don't know about you guys, I don't think most people do like this quantity of meat at once unless they're running some kind of a business. I'm not, I just cook for myself. I have limited off time, so I have to make do with what I've got. And pulled pork leftovers are pretty awesome. Light brisket, you can do a lot with it. But my parents, I'll give them one of these pork butts. I'm gonna get this first one over here. This one's a little weird. It's got a little piece of the bone from the picnic right here. Usually you just have that one shoulder blade bone right here. But anyway, we'll make do with it. Get this patted dry real good. Already done the other side of it. Go over it one more time and I'll score this fat cap with a knife a little bit. I've got to where I don't really use a binder like at all on ribs or on anything. I don't really see the need. It seems to stick just fine. Never noticed any difference of not using a binder as far as bark formation or anything. So I'm not going to gouge way into the meat. Just want to score this fat cap. Do this before seasoning. Get some of that salt and pepper down in there. Typically do this on a cutting board, but really ain't much need. So I got the St. Louis cut ribs. They were on sale for 1, but ain't really got to do any knife work on them. This camera tripod is kind of in my way, so kind of harder, a little awkward. But we're gonna get it. I'll just do that on one video. The other ones I won't show that part for simplicity. Diamond Crystal Kosher Salt. You can lay that on there fairly thick. This is about a 10-pound chunk of pork right here. Make sure we get a little bit in. Well, maybe didn't cut all the way into that one. Guess I did, it just didn't open up. There we go. I like to try to make sure a little bit of that gets down in there. Of course, as it dissolves, it'll get in there anyway. Do that, and I'll get the sides and the back probably off video since this camera's kind of in my way. And that is slow. I like a lot of black pepper. So let me open this other side up. I just use one of these Costco things. Now I grind some of this myself. And also get this at the chef store. It's called the Restaurant. It's probably about a 14 to 16 mesh ground black pepper. Put that on there kind of thick. This right here definitely helps with your bark formation. I've been looking online a lot, seeing other people in some of these barbecue groups, and they're having issues with bark and all that, and they'll season like this and a little bit of the air side, but like all the edges right here, the sides, It's bare. Looks like they just take a little mustard and just and a little seasoning like right here, and they want to know why they didn't get good bark. Don't be afraid to lay this stuff on here. Get it on there good and thick. You ain't gonna hurt nothing. Do a brisket the same way. Ribs. Now ribs on the underside, and I'll do the ribs on here too. But the underside, the bone side, I don't worry too awful much with as heavy a coat of seasoning over there, because I don't usually take the membrane off. I'll score it with a knife. Reason being, it'll crisp up as long as you cook it right. And if you don't wrap it, then your membrane will actually get even crispier. You have a good crispy bark. And I've done it wrapped and unwrapped. I'll probably wrap the ones today just because, boy, go in there with that. Get these little snort toys for dogs. They love those things. If you hear it in the background and your dog has one, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. They're like little pigs or hippos or whatever. Get the sides of this. Yeah, sorry about that shaking this tripod. Or actually, it's not even a tripod. It's one of these flexible mounts. This house that I'm in currently has very limited counter space. So I'm doing this actually on the stove. So, kind of sucks. But, make do with what we got. Get that on there good. This last side here. See if I can hit that tripod 6 or 8 more times before I'm done with this one piece. I'm not going to season all of it on video. You don't need to watch me do this. Be bored. I'll just get this and that last side. Oh, used to doing the. It ain't gonna go to waste. It'll all stick. I was used to shaking the salt and running my mouth. I'm not paying attention to what I'm doing, so I started shaking from the pour side. That's okay. We'll just get this over here. Get this pepper up. Not a lot of waste. If you do waste some, it ain't expensive. Ain't gonna hurt a thing. See, some people pour this in their hand and do it too. I've tried that, but I just have better results using the pour spout. So yeah, if you do a big old pork butt like this, do not be afraid to lay the seasoning on there. Especially if you're just gonna do like a basic, like a Texas style. Get that thing good and caked on there. And see, no binder. There's no oil on there. I patted it dry, so there's very little water moisture. No mustard, no hot sauce. Ain't a thing on there, just the moisture from the meat. Perfect adhesion. Got them all done. Go out there and get them on the pit. Alright, just got them all in there. A little bit of a tight fit. Had to curve that one. So yeah. Had to put the boneless one up here on top. I'm not sure if I can get all 3 of them across the bottom. Not with a water pan. I ain't done too many video updates on this one because I've shown this kind of stuff a few times now. Ain't so much you can show on a long cook. A little splotch right here. This boneless one sitting on top. It's got a little ugly bark here where the lid sits on it, but didn't really have anywhere else to put it. So these ribs, they'll be getting wrapped here shortly. So I need to fill my water pan up a little bit more. But other than that, everything's going good. Just sprayed a little vinegar on them. Added a little more wood. It's been rocking about 265, 270. Starting to get a little pull back over there. Temping about 160, so I'm going to wrap them now. I was gonna leave them out. I usually wrap them a little earlier, but I've been keeping vinegar on them, keep them from drying out. These are temping about 160 also, so I'm gonna get these and do a foil boat on those and get those back on. Get these ribs finished up. Alright, so I pulled everything off, rotated it a little bit, except this one. Did some foil boats. Ribs are actually temping in about the 174, 176 range. Except the one on the bottom, which is now here. I rotated it around. This one was temping around 150. So, yeah, I've got some foil boats going. These things finished up. There's ribs. Got the 2 racks under here. First pork butts off. I'm gonna finish the other 2 in the oven. That one is at 192 now, the smaller boneless one. And then the other big one, it's still a bit lower, so it's probably got another hour or so on it. I finally got all these things done. Started working on this one here finally. Get these things pulled apart and put them up and call it a night. Just filling bowls. You can see that stuff, it just comes apart. Look at that. Good and tender, hard to beat that. Give me some more bowls. Running out of real estate here.